ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza, and today I'm going to do the 3-color challenge with 3 large markers. But the problem is, I only have 2 of these large markers, and neither of them are colors, so I'm going to have to find a way around that. To give you some context, this is the normal type of marker I use. It's called a Copic Sketch, and it has 2 ends, a brush tip and a chisel tip. And this is an example as to the thickness of the stroke of the chisel tip. This is a Copic Wide marker. It's a much larger marker, only with a chisel tip, and the thickness of the stroke looks like that. I honestly pretty much never use the chisel tip on my Copic sketch markers because the brush tip enables you to have a lot more control and create some really fine details if you need to. Whereas with a Copic wide marker, you're basically limited to whatever approach you have with that very thick chisel. You can of course use the end to draw like that, so there are ways to get around it and add some detail, but it's a lot less organic. Now of course I'm going to need some more interesting colors than plain black or colorless blender. So what I'm going to do is use my RT Games app, and I've put into a new profile called Copic Wide all of the colors that exist in the Copic Wide range. And it's going to give me 3 colors from the entire Copic Wide range, whereupon I will then purchase them and they will be mailed out to me. I don't own them yet. So no more dilly-dallying. The 3 colors I will be using are Warm Grey number 3, Dark Bark, and Warm Grey number 9. So with the magic of editing, I'm going to skip forward a week or 2 and we'll take it from there. I've come from the future bearing gifts of markers. And not only that, but I have a giant piece of paper. That's right, aside from using 3 Copic wide markers, I'm going to be using them on a very big piece of paper. Now I will preface, this isn't blending card, this is just paper from Kmart, so I don't know if the saturation of when I use the markers on the paper is going to be a bit weird, but I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. So let's have a quick look at these colors that I'm going to be working with today. The lightest of the 3 is this W3 marker. These 2 are going to be sort of competitive for the which is the darkest marker badge, because they're both pretty dark. So that's the E49, and then we have the W9, which is in the same color family as the first one, the W3. It's a bit streaky there, so I guess I gotta watch out for that. I don't know if I can wear that in a bit just to make sure it doesn't streak when I use it. So just like that, we're ready to go. I have my colors. They're very earthy, quite brown sort of colors, so I'm interested to see what I can do. And I think I want to theme my artwork around the giant, the fight against the giant. Again, working with earthy colors, fight against the giant, maybe some sort of battle. I think this could be a load of fun. So, wish me luck. I start off by using my W3, which is a very, very light tone, to start to sketch in the silhouettes and the basic shapes. And I'm trying to position things in a way that creates a bit of a dramatic perspective. Once I've blocked that in, I start to put in some outlines of some clouds and then slowly work into the body of the main creature. I'm essentially drawing or sketching with shadow itself. I'm just trying to fill in the areas that I know will be hidden from a light source, and then leave areas for light to create a bit more of a shape. I use the tip of the marker for the most part when drawing my female warrior who's going to be facing our giant ogre-like creature in the distance. And I'm drawing her in the foreground and she's standing on a rock. And I'm going to come back and colour that in later, but I want her to be a bit darker than the rest. Next I'll move on to my W9, which as you can see almost looks like a solid black. I very quickly realised I need to use a very strong light and shade contrast, and also really work with geometric shapes because the chisel is so rigid to work with. I essentially had 3 strokes that I could use. The thin tip of the very point of the chisel, the full broad chisel, which is very thick, and then I could also brush it, which you can see I started to use quite heavily because when I realised that was an option, it became a bit of an asset to me, which essentially entailed using the entirety of the chisel but then only barely pressing it to the paper and whisking it very quickly while lifting my hand. again, when getting to my female warrior, I use the tip of the chisel mostly to get much more of a defined and detailed look, which also helps distinguish her from the main ogre character in the distance. One of the difficult things to do was to decide how to balance the use of my dark brown and dark warm grey. Both are extremely dark and quite similar in tone, to be honest, and just have different levels of warmth to them. I decided to keep the W9, or the near black warm grey, to the main characters themselves, and then added a little bit of the brown in the shading later. It was a really difficult balance to keep, to try and not overwork the silhouettes and figures and the shading. Part of me feels like in some areas I might have been better off leaving it in some of the earlier positions and strokes, but that's one of the tricky things about these challenges and using markers in general, is there's no undo button. So you've really got to try and figure out when enough is enough. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the result of my 3 marker challenge. I'm going to be honest, that was really hard. I hope you liked the result, but I had 2 extremely dark markers to work with of a very similar colour, and one really, really light marker that actually, by the end, I don't know if you could tell in the video or not, was almost completely dry. So I was actually hoping to come back and do some blending and try and mix things in a bit, but I really wasn't able to do much of that. So those limitations in mind, I really hope you enjoyed the 3 marker challenge. I hope you enjoyed the 3 giant marker challenge. So if you did, make sure to leave your comments and let me know if I should do it again. I'll be honest, it's a little bit expensive to do. It's like $40 a go because I'm going to buy these markers and postage and the paper. But I hope you loved it, and I really thought it would be fun to try and do that, 3 marker challenge idea, but in a way that turns it up a notch and turns up the challenge level. And this was easily one of the more difficult challenges I've done. And as you can, it's hard to sort of tell without my hands in there for scale, but this is quite a large piece. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and of course if you're interested in generating your own marker colors, whether it be for Copics or different kinds of markers, check out the Arty Games app. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for new